I have a couple of questions. You mentioned the importance of education. First of all, I just want to hear from you. I know you have a great mind. Who is an educated person, right? From your perspective, who is an educated person? And the next question is, this year in the United States, in August, particularly the 19th, it will be 400 years since the first enslaved Africans.
Since?
400 years since the first enslaved Africans
Yes.
arrived in English America. And it is a historic moment, an opportunity for real reconciliation within the United States across race, class, and the like. Beyond the first question of who is an educated person, would you consider bringing your lesson from the pilot of Rwanda, deep in the heart of Africa, to help and bring about reconciliation in the United States? Thank you.
Education or learning, maybe I can combine both of them. An educated person is therefore, you've got this knowledge. What do you use it? How do you use it? What do you use it for? Yes. What in solving a problem, your own or society's problem. So there are these two parts, therefore, in my view. The educated person is the one who has had the traditional school process, but at the same time, how do you transition from that to making a good use of it? And they add good use of it. Yes, then you are educated. This is what I see as an educated person. Maybe that is the best I can say about it. Now, for the other part, you know, in many ways, reconciliation, or, as I said, there are many problems across the world, and unfortunately, we have had our fair share of problems in the world, meaning Rwanda. We've learned from that. We have tried to change things in our own country to address what the problem was. There are other problems in other parts of the world, and people there struggle to address their own problems. I would wish to say that I can't pretend, or Rwanda wouldn't or shouldn't pretend to say, because the only thing that comes from Rwanda is if we have overcome some of these extreme cases of, problems, it should give hope to anyone else that they can overcome their own problems. That's the only thing I can say, but I don't think we have lessons we can take to other people and say, if you do this, that will solve your problem. I don't think, so people with those problems have to make these hard choices I started with when I was talking about that, and decide which way to go with addressing the challenges before them. Well, if they want to make a reference to say, look, Rwanda did it, and they were at the lowest level of any nation in their lifetime. But they have risen out of that and are here. It's like the main thing is, if Rwanda has done it, what reasons do we have not to try and overcome these challenges ourselves? Yes, that is the only thing I can't tell people that, because we did this and have made this progress, you should do the same.
I think what I appreciate what I heard in the question, was one, hey, what is an educated man? And what I heard you say was an educated man who's received knowledge, he's received teaching, he's received training. The question, though, if that educated man or woman becomes effective is what they do with it.
Yes.
What they do with the investment they've received. Right? And similarly, I think today, we've received some instruction. We've received an example. We've received a story of a nation that's gone about the hard work of reconciliation. The question for us as we do remember the past, because we need to be anchored in the truth of the past and have clarity on it. As we do remember the past, what are we going to do with these great lessons we've learned? Right? What are we going to do? How are we going to put these to action? How are we going to steward this investment that you've made in us today?
Absolutely.
Right? So I don't think you want to be alone. I don't
No,
think you want to be the only
absolutely
nation
not.
that's
No,
pursuing
no,
innovation.
absolutely
The only
not.
nation that's lifting up women in power. The only nation
That's
that's
true.
leading the way in prosperity and
Absolutely.
innovation. You don't want to be alone in this.
Absolutely. That's why, in fact, we share our own experiences with all the African countries.
Yes.
Yes, we across. In fact, recently I have had the opportunity to lead the African Union. That's about 55 countries. I have been the chairman of that organization, the African Union, for 12 months. And throughout the 12 months, my message was just as we were discussing here. It's like Rwanda is part of you. We are you and you are us as Africans. This is what we went through. Well, even before you tell them, they tell you because they know that. And they want to say, how have you come from here to this point? And we tell them the story. The only thing is to tell the story and say, this is how we did it. It may work for you, it may not work for you the same way, but certainly there are certain things, at least in terms of mindset, in terms of a mentality that is developed, and the choices you make, and the lessons learned, anybody can solve their problems. But nobody is going to come to address your problem.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you can even, we have had this experience and we tell our friends and partners, we say, sometimes they have come with lessons to teach us how to, and we've humbly told them we appreciate you. We appreciate your support and your sympathy and willing to be with us, but this life here lived by these Rwandans, they can only be the ones to lead the way in addressing it. Yeah. The rest will just be help, support, sympathy, and but you don't want to replace anybody in addressing their own problems.
Yeah.
You can't substitute.
Don't rob them of that
no.
gift to address them. Yeah, and the dignity found therein. Now Rwanda is a nation that's looked up to around the world as an example of what it looks like to create all these attributes that we would love to have, whereas 3 decades ago that wasn't the case.
But
you weren't robbed of it, it was done yourself.
Absolutely. We can only share ideas, experiences, but when it comes to doing what makes the difference, it's you to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Your Excellency, as you said to the African Union that Rwanda is part of you, I would say to you, hey, Rwanda is part of us. Part of us. We're part of a global, right, a global people group. And I thank you, brother, for coming and sharing your story that has benefited us so greatly. And my challenge, I think, to all of us, our challenge here today is to take and receive these teachings we've had. Take and receive the hard lessons that Rwanda has learned and has modeled for all of us. Take this picture of hope, this picture of transformation, this picture of what can be, and move forward together in unity, in accountability, and with a big vision, of what we could collectively do together. Somewhat a nation, Africa needing a vision, I think our nation needs a vision. Our nation needs a vision of a city that rises up, that comes together, that looks pragmatically at problems, not from political ideologies, but really from a solutions, learning-based orientation.
Big countries need even a bigger vision.
Charlotte, please join me in thanking His Excellency President Paul Kagame, Rwanda.